clock. All right, here we go. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're going to talk about, this is class number 2 for UCO, September 2024. We're going to talk about the dramatic triangle. So it was first described in the 60s by a man named Stephen Karpman. He's a United States therapist and co-founder of transactional analysis. So he identifies three primary roles. So if you can draw a triangle on your paper, at the top you can put the rescuer or the savior, whichever one you prefer. The rescuer. The rescuer always says, let me help you. The rescuer always wants to save the day. It's going to be a little comical because you're probably going to see yourself. Most of us fall into all three parts, all three categories. The victim is down here, victim. Poor me, right? They feel oppressed, helpless. And then over here, you have the persecutor. The persecutor says, it's all your fault. They blame and criticize everyone else. Okay, so you have the rescuer or the savior, you have the victim, poor me, and then you have the persecutor who blames and criticizes. It's all your fault. So what creates, how do we end up in this dramatic triangle? A lot of times it's difficulty maintaining boundaries, staying in our place, really prioritizing ourselves and taking care of ourselves. And we cannot do that because we're in this triangle and we go from victim to savior or rescuer to, right? And we keep going to persecutor and we can't get out of it. It usually comes from growing up in an enmeshed family. So enmeshed family isn't the same as having a close and loving family. That's a beautiful thing, but it's a connection that's unhealthy, no boundaries. So there's a lack of autonomy, right? Some cases there's abuse. All right. But here are some characteristics of families that are enmeshed. There's a lack of privacy. The mother can just walk in the room or kids just walk wherever they want to go. Number 2, feeling responsible for other people's emotions. Number 3, family members feel guilty when they try to have their own independent lives. They say, where you going? What? But the whole family's here. What? How you just gonna leave? Number 4, alliances being formed and broken, and then some people feeling left out. But like maybe the matriarch decides, oh, we don't like that uncle anymore. He's no longer welcome. You don't see anything wrong with the uncle. You think the matriarch is being unreasonable, but you dare not keep in contact because the mesh, you stay over here with us. It's unhealthy There are no boundaries. Feelings of shame when you take care of your own needs. How you just gonna, where you going? But you didn't ask us if we need anything. Another one is lack of time alone to pursue personal goals. We're always together. Again, no autonomy. Another one is feeling unseen and stuck in a role. And the last one is inability to resolve conflict. Things just kind of go unspoken. We give each other maybe the silent treatment, or we argue and carry on, but nothing is ever resolved. And then we wake up the next day and we just go on as if nothing happened. Those are enmeshed families, no boundaries, out of control, no autonomy. People aren't allowed to grow and do and branch off as they should. Okay, so they're usually very rigid. You stay in your role, I stay in my role, right? Members often say that no matter what they do, their family members always see them in a certain way, expect certain behaviors. You're always like this. And some people say, but I've grown and my family still thinks that I am how I was 5 years ago. They have me locked in. I'm not like that anymore. I've done better. I've worked on myself, but they still have me locked in 5 years ago, stuck in that role. And you may feel guilty or anxious if you try to change the way that you behave or the way you interact with others, because the enmeshed family says you stay as you were, that you are in that role and that's it. So it's a constant moving around inside the circle. He calls it destructive social interactions. So people are usually participating in a dramatic triangle, and they find themselves playing one of the three roles, either the victim, the rescuer, or the persecuted. And in enmeshed families, people usually identify with one role. You may most of the times be the rescuer, but sometimes you play other roles as long as you stay within the triangle. But as you can see, none of them are pleasant. There's no peace in being the victim. Poor me. There's no peace in being the rescuer, always doing. And there's no peace in being the persecutor. When are you going to fix that? Because now you're fussing all the time and trying to get the people to do the right thing, get it together. That's exhausting. And that's why it's the dramatic triangle, because it's so, oh, and we can usually see ourselves in all three, and could be in one day. So let's do a little more dive a little more deeper into each role. So the rescuer attempts to save people that they see as vulnerable. They work hard and they often offer help even when they aren't being asked to do it. The rescuer just, oh, I anticipated her needs. I see she needs that. Here I am, right? They suffer though from feelings of anger and burnout because I'm doing, and we say this, I'm doing all of this, right? But they didn't even ask us to do it. And sometimes people get upset with us, like, why are you upset? I didn't ask you to do that. You may be the first person in the family to seek the help of a therapist when you reach exhaustion. But when you're sitting with the therapist, or you may be with a really close friend, you're still focused on the needs and problems of others. Why are you here? My mother drives me crazy. Oh my goodness, my husband. And you don't talk about you. So in thinking of boundaries, the rescuers act as enablers, which is not healthy, whose boundaries are too loose or permeable. I set this boundary, but somebody says, no, move here. And all right, I do it because I'm trying to help them. They need help. And the rescuer overextends themselves because I need to solve the needs of the family members, help them. They're vulnerable. They need help. They're weak. But what does the rescuer get out of that? Oh, my ego stroke because I'm overextending myself. I'm helping them. I'm always there. I feel needed, wanted, and loved. I feel a sense of fulfillment in helping others. But because it's in the dramatic, it's a very unhealthy helping because, again, they haven't even asked, and I'm crossing boundaries unnecessarily. And I'm wearing myself out. Anything that wears me out, it's not healthy for me. Even if the other person benefits, it's not benefiting me. I'm to the point of burnout and exhaustion. How can that be good for me? Right? So that rescuing, it provides that intense feeling of closeness, and it sets the stage for continuing the behavior inside and outside. Then you may take it to the job. Oh, my boss, just do. And we're exhausted, we're done, worn out. Okay, so that's the rescuer. Now we have the victim. They're vulnerable and overwhelmed. Poor me, right? They may be unaware of how to take their own power back, like, I just can't. They may fear independence and sometimes behave like a child, very self-centered. It's all about them. People say that. I go to my parent to talk about something about me, and they always become victim. The conversation always gets put back on them because they're the victim. So family members might be drawn into taking care of this person because they're the victim. And like the rescuers, victims have a lack of interpersonal boundaries because it's whatever, right? And they have dependency issues. So they have sometimes they may suffer from addiction or some other self-destructive issues that make family members feel the need to rescue them. Maybe they're really bad with their money, right? And so it's like, you need to, right? You need a budget. That's the persecutor. We're going to get into that person next, right? But the family, what? You need money again? Yeah, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. And you know that they have the money, but they just don't manage the money well. That's self-destructive. They can't make their rent. Oh, my lights are going to get turned out. Can you help me? They can't organize themselves. They can't manage their families, their children. So people are just, oh, we got to save them. We have to jump in. And the victim is like, yes, I need that. That's their place. Now we move into the persecutor. They tend to have boundaries that are based on rigid expectations of having others meet their needs. So they avoid pain and emotional vulnerability by creating distance between themselves and others in the family by employing criticism and punishment. How come you didn't get, why are you coming to me for money? Didn't you? We sat down and did a budget. Why didn't you? What? And they did, okay, now listen, I'm gonna give you this money this time, but you next time you I want to see your budget. And now the person doesn't do the budget because they're not interested. And now, did you do the budget? Did you do when you're gonna come by? Okay, look, I can skip. I have time on Saturday. Why don't you come by? No, I can. Okay, well, Sunday. Look, you need to do this, and it's a right on the other person. Rigid expectations, because is that the persecutor's business? Only if then they go to rescuer and they said all of that, and the next month, the person comes back, ma or big sis, look, I need, or the friend, I know I said that the last time, but this is the last time. Please, can you just get me out of this bind? I told you, right? And they go on and on and on. But what do? They rescue and they give. And then the victim's like, thank you, right? But now the persecutor that rescued now becomes a victim because it's like, I can't believe. And oh, and now I have to do without. No, you don't. You did that, right, as the rescuer. But if you didn't have the money, why did you bail them out? Now you need to be bailed out. And so it's just every role has its own negative aspects. None of them are good. No one is winning inside that dramatic triangle. And each role is trying unsuccessfully to get their own needs met. Isn't that interesting? Because the victim wants more attention. Poor me. The savior wants to feel fulfilled by helping others. I saved the day. And the persecutor wants to inflict their strict expectations on others, but you don't get it. And that's how you go from one role to the next. So no matter where anyone starts in the dramatic triangle, they inevitably end up as a victim. Isn't that interesting? Because by definition, the dramatic triangle restricts us from behaving as healthy and autonomous individuals. We're always linked. The victim is linked, the persecutor is linked, the rescuer is linked to other people. We want something, but we don't get it. And it just keeps us there. So one step towards getting out of that dramatic triangle to finding peace and health could be more awareness of the dramatic triangle as they happen, challenging ourselves and others to be seen outside of that role. Like you may have seen yourself in this discussion, like, oh, that's me. Oh, I was just there earlier this morning or yesterday. I was the victim. I was the rescuer. We need to get out. So how can you get out of the dramatic triangle? You can simply refuse to be either the superior or the inferior, because rescuer is superior, persecutor superior, victim inferior. That breaks the triangle. Once you stop the game, the drama stops too. You could stop acting poor me, ignoring your own needs, giving in to people even when it's not a good idea, or always taking the blame. You can step back and say, oh no, I don't want this anymore. I got to get out. This really is not healthy. It doesn't feel good. So, a very easy, not easy, a very clear way to get out whenever you're tempted to do something, you want to do something, you see someone that needs to be rescued, help, poor sister. Oh my goodness. She's a single mom with those 3 kids. I should pick them up from school so I could give her a break. You can ask yourself these 3 questions. I'm going to give you a moment to get your pens, because these 3 questions help us to get out of that triangle and stay out. They're a lifesaver. The first one is, did they ask for help? Did they ask for help? The second question, can I help? And that word can is very broad because you may physically be able to, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally, can you? And the third question is, and this is a whopper, Do I want to help? And the key to all three questions is if one of the answers to any of those questions is no, to stay out of that dramatic triangle, your answer should be no. A lot of times I ask people, did they ask you to help? No. We need to stay in our lane. And what happens is when we're in that dramatic triangle, and especially as the rescuer, oh, we can be there for everybody else. But what are we doing for ourselves? That's the question. Have I done anything for myself today or this week? And I've done all of this for even our family, our spouses, our children, grandchildren, co-workers, whoever it is, neighbors. We have to give to ourselves first, prioritize ourselves. A lot of times we don't want to because we don't even feel comfortable giving to ourselves. So we're already on E. But oh, I see Teresa. Oh my goodness, Teresa, I'll help you with your mom. I could do 3 days a week. Teresa didn't even ask me about that. But oh, because if I'm over there at Teresa's house helping her with her or sitting with her mom, I don't have time to organize my closet. 15 minutes is just, oh, I don't have time. Or I don't have time to show up for a class because I'm all over there. Or I don't have time to make out my schedule every week in my calendar, my therapeutic journal of what I'm going to do, what I need to do for myself, and my to-do list of things that are important for me, my paperwork, my banking, my budget, filling my car with gas, cleaning my room, keeping my room tidy, making my bed, doing my spiritual routine, getting my exercise, drinking my water, taking my supplement. There's so much that we really our body requires, our body and mind require, making time to spend with quality people who build us up that we're not giving. It's just an interchange. We can jive with them, chit chat, have coffee, whatever, go for a walk, and you leave feeling refreshed instead of, oh, poor thing, let me invite her because she doesn't have friends. There might be a reason why she doesn't have friends, right? Maybe she's just going to pull you everything out of you. And that's fine if you have done all of your things. But a lot of times that first question keeps us, did they ask? And you say, but isn't that a good Christian? Be observant, anticipate people's needs. But that's in a balanced way after you have taken care of your needs, your requirements. So we give in a very unbalanced way. And it's because we're expecting something back and we never get the something. What's the something? Oh, you are the greatest person in the world. I couldn't do it without you because our self-esteem is so low. We need that validation from the outside. But if we prioritize ourselves, we're giving ourselves our own validation, right? That second one, can I? Very broad, because if I ask you to loan me $100 and you have $101 in the bank and you still need to get your gas and all, can you? Technically you can, because you do have 101. You'll still have $1 in your account. They won't close your bank account. But really, can you? No, because you won't have enough for yourself. But poor thing, yeah, but what about you? Right? We get all out of control with the can I. Or maybe physically, I can help someone clean their house. But emotionally, how will I show up when I get back home for my family? Because I'm just done. Right? I need to clean mine, organize mine, take care of mine. So that can, because you said, I can. Yeah, you have $101. Technically, you can, in quotes, but can you really? So it's the same thing with our energy, our mental. Sometimes we wake up, we just don't have it. And it's okay, we're human. And if we can't do it for the person, there's someone else that can. We don't have to try to save the world because we can't. We're just one person. And we can do so much more for people when we've given to ourselves. We're refreshed, we're filled up. what we give is such better quality. And then we don't need them to praise us. If they say thank you, fine, but I'm good because I'm all filled up. I did my own filling up. And then that third one, do I want to? A lot of times, sometimes they ask, sometimes we can. We may have 500 in the bank and they ask for 100. All right, yeah, I still got 400 to play with. But I don't want to, when we're really honest with them, I don't want to do that. I don't even like her. Whatever it is, I don't want to be at her house. I don't want to be taking care of her kids. I don't. So then the answer is no. And if you don't want to, you have the right to say, I can't, no, that's not going to work for me. Set the boundaries, say no. It's life changing. I was a big time rescuer. Oh my, ooh, but exhausted. We need to conserve our energy for ourselves and for things that really matter. You know, sometimes people have privileges and they're so, oh, they come off, they take away, they give up the privilege within the organization because they're so exhausted. But it's because they're all in people's stuff. They don't even belong over there. Come back over here live your life to the fullest, do it well, take care of yourself really good, and you can probably give more. So we have to be balanced. Those three questions keep us balanced. And outside of that, dramatic triangle, we don't want the drama. We want to stay out of it. All right. So for those that are watching this recorded, we wish you were here with us because we're going to have some after talk, after dark talk, chit chat about the dramatic triangle. But we'll hope to see you in the next class. Bye bye.